You check your phone. A news alert flashes. A shark attack off a beach 3,000 miles away. Your stomach tightens. You make a mental note to avoid the ocean for a while. You spend the next hour researching statistics on a financial trading app, convinced you have spotted a pattern that will beat the market. You are simultaneously terrified of a creature you will never encounter, and confident in a gamble that has a near-certain chance of losing you money. You are not stupid, but the real answer is far stranger. The engine running your sense of risk is not a calm mathematician. It is a cobbled-together survival machine that has been miscalibrated for the modern world. Your brain's calculator is broken, and it has been broken for over 200,000 years. Picture your ancient ancestor on the African savanna. The sky is a solid tan color. The grass is a flat, dry yellow. A stick figure with a white circular head is walking through the tall blades. Suddenly the grass rustles. There is no data to analyze. There is only a binary choice with a time limit of 1 second. It's either wind or a predator. If your ancestor assumes it's the wind and stays put, but it's actually a lion, the story ends permanently. The cost of this false negative is catastrophic, coded as a game over in your genetic memory. If your ancestor assumes it's a lion and runs away, but it's actually just wind, the cost is trivial. A few wasted calories. Embarrassment in front of the tribe. The cost of this false positive is almost zero. This asymmetrical risk matrix hardwired a specific glitch deep into your skull. Behavioral scientists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky labeled this cognitive shortcut the availability heuristic. It is a simple rule that your brain follows every single day without your permission. It dictates that the ease with which an image pops into your head determines how likely you think it is to happen. A vivid mental movie equals a high probability. A dry statistic equals a low probability. This is why you fear shark attacks more than heart disease. A shark attack is a narrative masterpiece. A dorsal fin cutting through cobalt blue water. Red blood blooming in white foam. A dramatic soundtrack playing in the background of your imagination. The media replays this rare event 1,000 times, drilling it into your memory until it feels common. Heart disease, however, is a silent, slow-motion leak. It looks like a beige hospital room, a flickering fluorescent light, and a slow accumulation of a waxy substance called cholesterol. The image is boring, it is gray, it has no teeth. Because you cannot easily retrieve a terrifying visceral flashbulb memory of a clogged artery, your brain labels it as a low threat. Yet the numbers tell a completely different story. The odds of dying from a heart attack are roughly 1 in 6. The odds of dying from a shark attack are roughly 1 in 3.7 million. Your brain prioritizes the narrative over the number 100% of the time. You are living in a vivid hallucination of risk, painted by the news cycle and hardwired by lions in the grass. Look now at your desk, or maybe your pocket. You feel a buzz. The stock market is dipping. You see a red line cutting down a black chart. Your ancestors' mistake-making machinery is now processing digital money. Here, the broken calculator is called the gambler's fallacy. Imagine a stick figure standing at a roulette table. The wheel hits black 5 times in a row. A thought bubble appears above the figure's head, reading, "Red is due." Your brain genuinely believes that the inanimate wheel has a memory and that past random events influence future ones. This is mathematically insane. The wheel has no conscience. But your brain evolved to see patterns in nature. If it rained for 5 days straight, assuming the 6th day would be dry was a useful survival instinct. Rain clouds are not random. Roulette wheels are. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a physical system with a memory and a random number generator without one. You feel a gut-level confidence that the streak must break, and so you double down. This illusion of control extends to the hot hand fallacy. In a yellow gym setting, a basketball player hits 3 shots in a row. A label in the air reads "on fire." The brain releases a surge of dopamine that screams a single message: the next shot is guaranteed. But a massive analysis by researchers Thomas Gilovich, Robert Vallone, and Amos Tversky proved that the hot hand in basketball was a cognitive illusion. The shots were statistically independent. Your brain surfs on a wave of dopamine and calls it probability. This is why you gamble more than you save. Saving money is abstract, delayed, and silent. It lacks the burning red visual of a jackpot symbol lining up on a screen. Gambling triggers the ancient dopamine pathway, designed to reward the successful hunt of a wild animal. The flashing lights of a slot machine mimic the sensory rush of a kill. You are pulling a digital lever to simulate a mammoth hunt, and your brain's ancient chemistry rewards the risk even when the outcome is a net loss. There is another software bug here, even deeper than pattern recognition. This one is called loss aversion. Researchers discovered that losing $100 feels psychologically twice as painful as gaining $100 feels pleasurable. This is a prehistoric tax code imposed on your happiness. If a Stone Age ancestor found a pile of berries, they felt good. If another ancestor lost a day's worth of food, they faced a real threat of starvation. A red stress stick figure with a frowning brow line is shown holding an empty bag on a stark white background. The pain of losing resources was biologically prioritized as a survival warning, a blaring alarm that shouted, "Don't let this happen again." This is the trap. Because you dread the red lines in your trading app so intensely, you sell your winning stocks too early to lock in the dopamine hit and avoid the potential loss. You hold on to your losing stocks too long because selling them would trigger the catastrophic pain of a realized loss. You are not optimizing for wealth. You are optimizing for emotional stability, and your emotions were calibrated for a world where food could not be frozen and credit did not exist. This terror of loss explains why you are terrible at estimating abstract long-term survival percentages. When you hear 90% survival rate for a surgery, you feel relief. When you hear 10% mortality rate for the same surgery, you feel dread. Your heart beats faster. Your palms sweat. This is the framing effect, isolated by Tversky and Kahneman. The objective reality is identical. A green slide marked survival and a red slide marked mortality flash on the screen. One is a gain frame, the other a loss frame. Your brain processes the red warning as a saber-toothed tiger and freezes. You choose the option that avoids the loss frame, even if it is statistically worse. A doctor can tell you a procedure has a 10% risk of death, and you will refuse it, choosing instead to suffer silently with a condition that carries a 90% risk of natural death over time. You protect yourself from the vivid, sharp loss in the moment, blind to the slow, diffuse erosion in the background. Let's move to a solid orangish-yellow background representing a party. A group of stick figures is standing around. One figure has a red face and is visibly sweating. This is anchoring. Before you walk into a party, a cynical friend tells you that the people there are slightly boring. You walk in, and that initial anchor becomes your reality baseline. Even if the people are moderately interesting, your brain barely registers it because you are unconsciously comparing it to the low anchor. If your friend had said the people were geniuses, you would have viewed the exact same crowd as a disappointment. Your brain struggles to pull away from the first number it sees, just like a small boat anchored in a strong current. In a negotiation, the first price stated acts as a gravitational pull. If a car dealer starts at $50,000, a discount to $45,000 feels like a victory, even if the car is only worth $35,000. Your ancient brain treats the first available piece of information as a safe rock in a fast-moving river. You cling to it, not because it is correct, but because it is first. This is how a meaningless number thrown out by a stranger can dramatically warp your sense of value. This is where the narrative gets counterintuitive. Your brain is not rotting because of the internet. Your brain is not broken because of smartphones. The anxious stick figure you see in the mirror with question marks floating around its head is the exact same stick figure that hid from saber-toothed cats and survived ice ages. The brain you are using right now is optimized for the world that ended 10,000 years ago. You are running on prehistoric hardware that defaults to survival mode in a time of abundance. The system that screams predator when the grass rustles is the same system that screams danger when a red downward arrow appears on a stock ticker. It cannot tell the difference between a mortal physical threat and an abstract digital symbol. It just floods your veins with adrenaline anyway. You are not irrational. You are just a Stone Age hunter trying to file a tax return in a concrete jungle, where the predators have been replaced by probability charts and monthly compounding interest. The modern world is a statistics puzzle, but you are holding a club and a torch. You avoid the ocean to escape a shark, but ignore the cholesterol clogging your arteries. You obsess over lottery tickets to hunt for a life-changing feast, but ignore the slow, steady, near-guaranteed buildup of a compound interest savings account. You fear the rare, vivid disaster, and ignore the common, silent killer. The sudden, bright red danger demands your attention. The slow, tan erosion of time does not. This is why you insure your phone against accidental damage, but hesitate to get life insurance. The cracked screen is a visceral, immediate pain you can easily picture. The fragile future of your family is an abstraction too blurry to trigger the ancient alarm system. You are sitting here now reading these words. Your brain knows these facts to be true. Rationally, intellectually, you accept them. And yet, the next time you see the flash of a news alert about a tragedy far away, your heart will skip a beat. And the next time you see a green streak on a casino advertisement, a little whisper will tell you that you might be the lucky one. You will check the stock and feel the icy dread of a falling price. This is not a failure of intelligence. It is the price of thinking. It is the echo of a wind blowing over the dry, flat grass of the savannah, keeping you alive long enough to make the mistake all over again. You check your phone. A news alert flashes. But this time, you feel a quiet whisper from a much older part of your memory. It sounds like a false alarm in the grass, and you notice it.